All right, activate.
Wireless mic, handy.
Put that.
Are we ready? All right, I hereby call this meeting to order. This is the code enforcement hearing for the town of Gulfstream. I normally would tell you the cases are ordered in the order they appear on the agenda, but we have one case, so that will be the agenda. Do we want to swear in any witnesses?
Oh, yeah, if we could swear in Mr. Dunham. And I don't know, Mr. Crew, if you're gonna say anything. Okay.
Unless you need me to speak.
No, you're good.
If you want to speak or you think there's a possibility you might speak, it just be convenient. We'll swear everybody in at the same time. All right, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
Please be seated. The village can call their first, I'm sorry, the town can call their first.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Town Attorney Trey Nazar here on behalf of the Gulfstream. With me is Town Manager Greg Dunham here for case number 2301 relating to 2900 Avenue Au Soleil. The owner 2900 AAS LLC has been provided notice consistent with Town Code Section 275. You've been presented with an affidavit of Renee Rowan Basil indicating the statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent via certified mail to an address provided by the property owner. Once it was determined that the address listed on the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser's website and in the deed conveyance of the property to the current owner was not valid. So we'd ask that you find that satisfies the requirement in subsection A of section 275. In addition to that, although it doesn't meet the town code regarding notice by posting, 9 days ago we did post the property and outside town hall on the notice board with that same thing. We also had a communication with the owner last night confirming that the hearing was still going forward, and he does have a representative present.
I'll do the whole ruling at the end.
Okay, great. So yesterday we did have an on-site inspection with the town manager. He met John Carew of Carew Building and Maintenance, who is in attendance today. He provided the following statement via email in advance of that hearing. He said, "I've taken care of all the violations and procured a roofer to do the repairs to both structures. All of the broken windows have been boarded up and the pool has been covered over with framing and plywood with a sump pump, so it is not a hazard or any standing water issue. All the grounds have been trimmed, mowed, and cleaned up all debris, and the roofer registered with Highland Beach Building Department and has the packet ready to submit." So yesterday, Mr. Dunham reviewed the conditions of the property and found the violation relating to obnoxious growth in section 2231.4 had been cured. So we're no longer pursuing that violation. And the violation relating to the accumulation of stagnant water in section 2231.15 could not be proven at this time, given the pool was covered with plywood. I believe the sump pump may or may not have been working, but we could not confirm whether there was standing water in the pool. So the violation relating to the roof continues to exist. So if I could just have Mr. Dunham provide some testimony regarding that. So can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Gregory L. Dunham.
And what is your position with the town of Gulfstream?
I'm the town manager.
Are you familiar with the property at issue in case number 2301 that we're talking about today?
Yes, I am.
And were you on the property yesterday?
I was on the property, correct.
And can you tell me a little bit about the condition of the roof when you were there, consistent with the notice of violation that was provided to the property owner?
Yes, the condition of the roof is actually consistent with the photos. I'm not sure if His Honor has the copies of the photos.
Yes, he has been provided with that.
So the condition of the roof has not changed since the notice of violation was sent out, and that includes the notice on the main house and on the garage and associated building next to the large house.
So I've just opened Mr. Dunham's notebook to the first picture indicating the condition of the house. So Mr. Dunham, is that consistent with the appearance of the house yesterday?
Yes, it is.
And can you flip to the next photo? I believe that's largely the same photo. Is that also consistent with the conditions you observed?
Yes, sir, it is.
Those are two different structures.
So that's one structure. And then the third photo, Mr. Dunham, can you identify that as a separate structure?
Yes, sir, it is. This is separate from the main house. The first two photos were the main house, and this is the garage and associated rooms on the garage.
So did you observe that the condition of the roof was such that it likely needed to be cleaned?
Yes, sir, I did.
And then also not only that, but also that it was likely not constructed and maintained so as to prevent leaks.
Correct. You could see light coming through the roof from standing inside the building.
Okay, and that's for both structures.
I was not inside the main house.
But you believe that the condition is such that it would likely
Yes.
be leaking?
Yes, yes, sir. It appears that there are holes in the wood going all the way down to the wood part of the roof.
Now, Your Honor, I don't know if you have any questions for Mr. Dunham?
No, I think it looks pretty rough shape from the pictures. I assume no one's living in this.
That's correct.
So at this point, we've had communication with the owner who've indicated that they are processing or in the attempt of obtaining a building permit to do certain repairs to the roof structure on both the primary and the accessory building. So they have started that process. They recently, I believe 2 days ago, received a deficiency notice from the town of Highland Beach, who is our building official, and the town of Gulfstream, indicating that they need to fill out additional materials. And then with the Gulfstream deficiency, it's paying an administrative review fee of $125 and having a pre-construction meeting. So all that is very easy to correct.
Give me a second for it to hook back up.
Chairs with that on it, right?
That was a gift from back from the club. They got rid of them, these captains.
It's perfect.
Efficient use of resources.
Well, it is distinctive, right?
Sure.
It is very Florida.
If you've never been here before, you come see it and leave.
I will. Undoubtedly.
Yeah, my wife says I talk too much. This is probably my fault. I should just wrap it up quicker.
You guys ground your power here or just power line?
We have an underground project. It's like too well.
Yeah, big deal on Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
They're still. I mean, they actually hired somebody who didn't start working.
A lot of questions when they're elected when they found out that we were going through the process. He said it was great, and then phase 2 happened, and it was a nightmare, and then we had to sue AT&T.
You guys have a small area.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. We were dealing with a lot less. It was a mistake to do it in two phases. I think everyone agreed, but
Just let me know when we're back down.
Oh,
Seems like a reasonable precaution considering the amount of storms we get around.
yeah, and we just had a new surge protector put on this valve system. And it obviously is working.
yeah, that's right. Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, everyone in Florida has a UPS hooked up. They want their equipment to work.
I had to do this yesterday. I'm just gonna unflag and reboot.
That's what they always tell you to do. And then you call the technical support.
Yeah, have
Did
you
you turn it
rebooted?
on?
That's the first question. And it is so maddening. It's like, if I didn't do that, why would I be calling you?
There was a message, I support about policy yet. Some guys like, I got this call, guys, this computer's not working, so we go through all this stuff about, information, trying to get it to boot. So finally, I'm like, you need to go back to the computer, and it's like, I can't see back there. It's like, why can't you see back there? Because it's dark, the power's out. See, so I feel for those people.
Well, I was gonna say, in their defense, but you start with the low hanging fruit. Is the power on? That's probably one that you assume doesn't. Yeah.
Slowly but surely, there's, I'm getting there.
My mic's on.
Well,
Class of 93.
I'm gonna say we're good.
We might have been on the same day.
Okay, Trey.
all right, sorry, now, so,
Just for the record, I'm gonna call this meeting back in order.
so before we were interrupted by, I guess, what was a power surge that was, going through the only violation in the notice that currently exists. So we did clear we're unable to clear the pool, vegetation is no longer an issue. But we're still looking at the roof. Mr. Dunn testified, and then I mentioned that Mr. Carew provided an email indicating that he was attempting to cure the violation regarding the roof by doing some work. So we just want to make sure that they stay on schedule. So we would ask that, given some of the deficiencies that have been communicated to the homeowner, the ball's really in their court. I don't think it'll take a long time to get this permit issued. Mr. Kerr mentioned that it would take maybe 2 weeks once the permit is issued to do that work. So we would ask for 14 days from today to actually pursue the permit and ensure that it's issued, and then 14 more days to complete the work for a total of 28 days to do that work and cure the violations. And that if that is not done, we would ask that a daily fine of $200 dating back to the original notice of violation. The compliance date in the original July 11th notice of violation, which gave a July 25th deadline to comply, be assessed. And I think that that's reasonable. They've indicated they're willing to work with us, but we just want to make sure that everything stays on track. There's been some discussions about selling the property and things like that. But we just want to make sure that just for our purposes, these violations are dealt with. Mr. Dunham indicated that he saw some additional violations that may exist on the property. So we're going to work with the property owner for that with respect to those additional violations. So if we could set that compliance date for finishing the work 28 days from today, and then schedule a follow-up hearing before the special magistrate to confirm whether or not those have been completed. And then also, in the event that additional violations aren't cured, have a violation hearing for those additional items. So that's what the town is asking.
Relatively unusual to make the fine go back to usually it's typically from the date the order complies, unless it's irreparable or irreversible in nature or a health safety violation. But, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's not a fairly reasonable ask in random circumstances, but time on I assume that you know the city process better than I do, so that if you testify that's a reasonable amount of time to comment that, that's satisfied with that. The only question I think is whether or not the fine should be retroactive to the original compliance date. It's relatively unusual on one.
So we do have a lot of communications with the homeowner and his contractor. We did extend one time the compliance date to August 11th. So there's been multiple machinations of getting started and stopping and whether we set it for hearing.
Yeah, so I feel that the town's pain on that one. Wait, the gentleman that's here, are you a representative of the property? Sure. Why don't you come, you pass you for an idea, why don't we just get that one? You tell me your name?
John Kerr.
I'm sorry, one more time?
John Kerr.
Mr. Crew, what's your relationship to the property?
He's GC and his member.
He's the general contractor.
This is on John and that multiple properties that we.
So the city wants to give you 14 days to get the permit and then another 14 days to fix the roof. Does it seem reasonable to you?
I think very reasonable. Provided they give me 14, they give me the permit in 14 days if there is a problem with that.
Well, the good news is you get to come back here before the fine is actually set. If there's something that happens beyond your control, like, for say, like a hurricane.
Yeah. But
These things do happen.
I do appreciate 14 days from the day I do receive the permit. If they don't give me the permit, exceeding the first 14 days, then I would ask for a little 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I would address it.
I would have put it in sooner, but there was a sale pending on the property, and then I spoke to Mr. Dunham that he can extend it. But if I would have opened the permit, they wouldn't be able to do the sale of the property if there's no permit. So on the 24th, when we found out that it wasn't going to go through, that's when I had my roofer put in for it, and we had to register a police from, I think, what's it, Lucy, couldn't find anybody local to do the job. And that's when we did put it in.
Recently, a file in South Florida.
For me.
All right, then there doesn't seem to be much disagreement in this one. So in case 2301, the on findings of fact and law, find that it is good and sufficient. I find the property is in violation of section 2232, specifically that the roof is not in the condition required by the code, including being clean and watertight. I'm going to respond at 14 days to obtain the permit, and then 14 days subsequent to obtaining the permit to complete the work on the roof, or a fine of $200 per day in the issue. We'll set a fine assessment to determine the exact amount of fine if necessary. Do you want to do the date now? Calendar real quick.
I guess, Renee, do you have access to the calendar?
Basically, we're talking the end of September or early October.
If I may,
Yeah, man.
I know the mailing address that we've had for, I think it's called 1900, also a LLC, it's 1013 Lakewood. We're in transition moving. Is it possible that I can add my address to the mailing? So any future violations or anything can be sent to me, because I'm lawman, quote unquote.
No, absolutely.
By the time, he's back in town and opens his mails and we're already,
You just give your contact information.
that would be, this way at least I would have a heads up.
I'm talking October 4th.
The 4th works.
What day is it?
It's a Wednesday.
We're gonna set this for fine assessment here on October 4th, 2023, 9:30, a good time for you?
Yes, sir.
9:30 a.m. If necessary. All right, so do you understand what I did?
Yes, sir.
14 days to get the permit, 14 days after you get the permit to complete the work, fine assessment October 4th, 9:30 a.m. If necessary, fine up to $200 per day. It's on the time that you were required to have compliance. So important that you get it done. If something does come up that is beyond your control, like a weather event or something like that, it's important that you let the town know. And you let me know on the fourth.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything further?
No, sir, thank you.
Meeting is hereby adjourned. And I will remember you here.
Are they gifts?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the clubs.
Gift, I mean.
One of the wedding halls and